Hi, Professor Gerald Friedman, Department of Economics, University of Massachusetts at Amherst. And we're here today to talk about the rise of the deficit and the return of sound finance. Now, there's a little preface here, which is goes back to the first administration of George W. Bush. President Bush had a Secretary of Treasury who was sort of a decent guy. And he was a bit of a traditional Republican, and he was worried about the deficits that had been created by the Bush administration's tax cuts, military spending, and the economic recession that we had in 2001. And he was going around complaining to Vice President Cheney about the deficits, and Cheney said, "Nobody cares about the deficit. Ronald Reagan showed that nobody cares about the deficit, so just shut up." Instead of shutting up, he quit. But okay, that works. Nobody cares about the deficit. That's true. Nobody cares about the deficit because deficits aren't important. Here's how it goes. We had the housing bubble, we had the housing crisis, we had the financial crisis. By the end of 2008, the economy, well, it's not going down as badly as it would have gone down, but it still was shedding 600,000 jobs a month. The unemployment rate is rising by close to a percentage point every month. Things are bad and getting worse. Now, there are two things that happened in early 2009 that, together with the TARP and the whole expansionary monetary policy that the Federal Reserve conducted, prevented things from getting worse, brought the economy out of its nosedive, leveled off, and even got a little recovery going. The first thing was the normal operation of what economists call automatic stabilizers. These are spending programs that happen without explicit congressional authorization. For example, you lose your job, you go to the unemployment insurance office, and you file and you collect unemployment. The government starts spending money for your unemployment insurance. You go to, I'm not sure where, the welfare office of some sort, and you file and you start collecting food stamps, and you start being eligible for Medicaid, health insurance for poor people because you've lost your job and you don't have the money you used to have. Government starts spending more money when the economy goes down automatically. At the same time, what's happened to your taxes? Well, you lost your job. You stopped paying them. I mean, you still may pay some taxes. You still pay sales tax. You may pay real estate tax if you own your home, whatever, but you're not paying taxes at the level you were paying before when you had a job and had income. And you are collecting benefits. So as a normal operation, without anybody doing anything, the federal budget goes into a deficit when the economy goes down. And that helps to reduce the impact of economic problems. The economy gets an immediate boost to compensate for a recession. That's the automatic stabilizer. In addition, when President Obama came into office in 2009, he immediately filed legislation for a special stimulus program. And he wasn't the only one. They were doing this in most European countries, in Britain. The Chinese had a very large stimulus. The Canadians had a stimulus. Throughout the world, countries were putting in programs to cut taxes and increase spending to try to get the economy going again. In the United States, Obama's stimulus ended up being about close to $800 billion of spending over several years. The first was a big tax cut. Then there was aid to cities, localities, and state governments. And then phasing in more slowly were programs for infrastructure spending. Altogether, these automatic automatic spending and the Obama stimulus together with monetary policy leveled off the economy. If you look at job losses, there's a wonderful graph that I'm sure the Obama people will be showing all over the country as they head into an election campaign. Job losses getting worse and worse and worse. Obama comes in, level off, and start to go up. And by the end of 2009, starting to get some increase in jobs. Part of that was the stimulus program. Part of it was the automatic stabilizers. Together, they brought the economy out of a crisis. But what they left were huge deficits. And as I said, Republicans never cared about the deficits when it was for tax cuts for the rich and for military spending programs for invading Iraq and Afghanistan. But they started to scream about the deficits when they were for unemployment insurance, food stamps for the poor and the unemployed, health care for the indigent, education programs for children and for college students. And we will talk about that as we go into the politics of the economic recovery. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.